Hey again, everyone. So today I'm just going to experiment some more with the inexpensive watercolors that I reviewed last week, and that was the Sargent Art Supreme 16 count watercolor cakes, and I got those for less than $2. I don't know if they're on clearance still at Hobby Lobby, but they were $7.99. I've been playing around with them a lot, tried to do a little bit of a detailed painting with them, and it didn't go very well. But then again, I'm not a watercolor artist, so I'm colored pencil, very good at that, and ink and drawing. But watercolor I struggle with. That I've not really done a lot with it. So that was the point of getting these and some of the cheaper ones to just play around and not worry about wasting them. So I'm just going to play around with it and really not have anything in mind, but just do some organic shapes and see what we come up with. Because originally I was going to do some orchids for you, which I have a nice sketch of. However, an hour into it, it was not good. So with this paint, and the colors were very bright, and I'm just gonna do my own thing here and just play around, and just if something nice comes out, then something nice comes out. If not, then oh well, we're just playing around. So if you want to get your paints, your cheap paints, or even your good paints, and you want to follow along with me and just see and play around with them and see what they do, get your stuff. And I have a piece of Strathmore watercolor paper, and this is rough paper. I've had this for years and years and years, probably since I was in high school, maybe a little after that, but this was the 300 series in the yellow pack, and I don't think that they sell, I'm not sure. I've not seen any of the Strathmore paper in the yellow pack or the yellow cover. I now see them in the brown cover, which is, I believe, the 400 series, and I don't have that, so I'm going to use what I have. Use that up first. But this was a pack of 11 by 15, and I just cut this in half, so it's now an 11 by 7.5 piece of paper, so that it's not too big, and it mostly fits on the screen. So I've got just some water here, and I've got my Zen brushes. Haven't used them much. I bought these from Michael's just because I wanted to get into watercolor a little more, and these are made specifically for watercolor, but they're not like too expensive, and they're not, well, they're synthetic, but they don't hold like too much water. I think they're somewhere in between, like too much water, just a nice beginners, I believe, set of brushes. So I have a Zen Royal and Langnickel. This is the size 6, and then I've got, and I probably won't use all of these, but then I have a 1/2 inch oval, I'm guessing. That's an oval brush, and this one would be a round brush, and this one is the, just says SM. Small. There's not a number on it, but I am going to use this because this is a fairly small piece of paper. I will use this number 6 mostly, and I've got some water. It's not very clear. I'm just dipping my brush in it, and I've sprayed my palette down with some plain water, but it's already dried up, so I'll spray some more. They dry pretty fast, so I don't think these are really great for detailed work, but good for playing around with. So let's do that. So I've got some slightly dirty water. I probably should change my water, but I'm not gonna, because I've been sitting here for an hour and just gave up with my disaster of a painting, and just gonna use the same water and just move on. So I'm gonna wet a shape, a petal shape. I don't even have a sketch, I don't have anything. So this is like some sort of an oval. Some sort of an oval petal, and I'm going to put one on each side, kind of like an orchid is. You've got your little center, and you've got like 5 petals, I believe, and they're kind of star-shaped. But I'm not trying to be exact here. We're just going to get the suggestion of some kind of a flower. So I am just wetting. Now you can kind of see that. This kind of looks like a couple of petals. And I'm going to take I'm going to wet my brush again. I'm going to put it into the red here, and I'm going to create a nice puddle of paint on this palette. And I am just going to touch that color into the pre-moistened paper, and we are just going to let that flow and see what that does. And I think, and I'm sorry, this autofocus is terrible, but if I don't put it on focus, then you guys really can't see that well. So as you can see, that spreading out, and it's spreading out all the way to the edges of where I painted, where I put that water down. And I am going to have to probably turn that focus off just so that it doesn't drive you nuts, and hopefully you can see. Okay. So kind of neat, because it does kind of looks like a little bit of veins there, and it's rough paper, so you can kind of see the texture of the paper underneath. One side is a little darker than the other, because I think this side got a little more dry. I'm just gonna wet my brush again and just kind of run that wet brush along the edge of the color here. Kind of tap it in there. I'm going to tilt it and just let it spread along. Do the same thing on that side a little bit. We'll just tilt it this way, and we'll just let it spread. So there's that. And then the orchid also has kind of petals right underneath it right here, so I'm just wetting a circular spot right there. And what I'm going to do, wetting my brush again, I am going to put my brush right up the wet brush, touch it right to the tips of the darker section of the paint there, and let that just travel down. And I will probably add a little bit more red. And we'll just watch it go. And this is going to work out better than me just having this plan, I believe. And I'm going to dry my brush, wash it, dry it, and then kind of soak up some of that extra water right here so it doesn't go too far. I'm just gonna, well, we'll just tap it and let it flow. And then the orchid also, so we're just doing one color. Orchid also kind of has, we have a petal right up here. I'm just going to put a kind of an oval shape right here. This may not even look like an orchid, it just may be like a red iris or something, I don't know. So now we've got a wet spot right there. It kind of looks like a petal. And I will do the exact same thing that I've done with the rest. I'm going to have a piece of hair right there, I think. I'm going to take my red, got a nice puddle of wet red right there, and I am going to just touch right there. And you can just see that spread. Might have a little bit too much water in that red. Now I'm going to tilt it up. And that has a little bit too much water, so I'm going to clean my brush off, dry it off a little bit, and take that dry kind of brush, dryish brush, and soak up some of that water. We could try this again. Dry it off again. And let's just do that. That is kind of pretty. And I think I want to take my paper towel and kind of get some of that. It's still kind of puddly right there, so I'm just going to lift that up. And I still have a piece of hair right there, lint or something, so just get that off of there. It's driving me crazy. Okay. So there's that. And I think I'm going to just add a little bit more red to that. It's still kind of damp. And why don't we just add some orange. We'll do an analogous color. Of course, this is kind of dry now. So I may have to add a little bit of water to get that to flow. See how that does. So we've just got some orange, and I'm just tapping a little bit of water to that orange to get that to flow a little bit and mix with the red. So that's what we've got here. So let's, do we want to add more petals to that or not? Because we know that orchids have about 5. They have 5, right? Right about here. Do I want to do that, or do I want to skip on to? I think I'll skip on to another flower. Let's do another one. So I'm going to just wet a petal shape and wet another petal shape, and these are, instead of going up, they're going down. If you could see that. So they're tilted down instead of up. And we'll just do the red again. Tap it right there. Trying not to get my brush too wet. Tapping it and just letting it do what it wants to do. And that's even less red than what we've got at the top, which that's okay. Why don't we go ahead and add our orange in there while it's still wet, if we can. It's not moving too well. Add a little bit more water. And I think I will dry my brush off and go around this a little bit. Yeah, because that orange is not spreading too well, so let me just drop a little bit of water right in there and let it go. Let's do a petal shape right up here, just an oval. I could also take some water and just go in between. I'm going to add some more paint to that. Let's add some more red. Just drop it right in there. Let it flow and then drop some in that petal that I just did. Just let it do what it wants to do. And I'm tilting it forward so that it'll flow more into that water. I'll just add some more red. And we can just keep doing that. Add some more to that if we want to. And tilt it so that it spreads. And if I want to, I can make that top petal a little bigger by I just clean my brush off and go around the outside of this. Yeah, looks more like irises to me. I'll just connect all three together with some water, tapping it in there. Got these. If I wanted to, we could do some purple. Why not? Let's see what that looks like. While these are still wet here, I'm going to drop some purple in. If I really want to, I'm just going to spray that. Let's see what it does. Let it spread a little bit more. And I like how that's mixing together and spreading. And I won't spray too much, we'll just let that be like that. And let's go back up to this flower up here and put some orange, or not orange, sorry, yellow in the center. And why don't we just, let's see, let's do some orange mixed with this yellow right on the paper. And why don't we spray it? And there you go. Liking that. So we have like suggestions of flowers here, and I like them. What else can we do? I think they need more petals. So let's do, I don't want to mess them up. Let's do, oh, that yellow's traveling down to that bottom petal right there. As you can see, that yellow and orange just mixed in with that one, and that is fine with me. And let's do skinny petal. 2 skinny petals underneath here. So we're pre-wetting our little petals just with the tip of the brush. I'm making some little petals here, and let me get my red. Drop those right in there. Drop the red right there. Let that go. I might need to help it out just a little bit. Come on down. How about some purple? Yep, liking that. And of course we need to do a third. So let's do a third. What should we do? I think that needs more petals as well, but we'll wait till that dries a little bit. So let's create a third flower right here. Maybe, yeah. I'm just gonna random 2 petals, 1 on each side. Just wetting petal shapes. You can kind of see that right there, nothing perfect. We will do some more of that red, drop it in there. And just watch that spread, and I think that's really neat how that does that. And while that, and I'm just like, I just keep like dipping into the red and just adding more to those edges right there, just letting it spread. So now I'm going to clean my brush off, and I'm going to go into the purple and just dip it right there. If we want to connect the two, let's put some water in between, let that flow. And why don't I put a petal down here at the bottom? Just scrape it in. Well, shouldn't be scraping that too hard. Putting a petal right here. And, oh, I just touched the wet petal there, and it just traveled down to the bottom petal, which that is pretty neat. Didn't mean to do that, but I like that, so we will leave that. And I'm going to add some more red here, and we'll add some more purple, and just watch that flow. And sorry about the lighting again. It's dark in here again, and it's dark outside. It's been very rainy outside. Let's do a little petal at the top. Why not? And that is, let's see, let's do a shorter one right here. Add some red. Kind of tilting it up and around, letting it travel to that wet spot that I created. And then we'll add some purple. You can see now. I'm going to adjust the focus back on. Trying to see if that helps any at all. Maybe not. Doesn't make a difference, guys. Sorry. So now let's make some yellow centers. So with these, so I'll put, which yellow did I use? This one? I think this one. So put a yellow center in here. And we'll do the orange as well. Let that mix. Whoops, not the green. Let that, with those two colors, mix on the paper. think I'll add a little more orange or yellow right here. And I don't think I'll spray that one. I'm going to add some more orange right there. And why don't we, thinking I want to, I better leave it alone. Leave it alone before I mess it up. Alright, so let's do a couple more petals right here. So I am, again, wetting right here, just underneath. We will do the same technique. We will add some red. And that's not flowing too well, so let's help it out. Add some water here. Maybe we just need a couple more petals right here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just wet some petal shape right here. So there's, and we did the red. And then we did the purple. Just tilting that. And I didn't put purple up here. Maybe I should. It's already dry, but the bottom ones are not dry. I could put some purple here. And I don't know, just go ahead and try this and add some purple and some water and see if, so just putting a little bit of water off my brush here. And I like that. I think this needs a little bit more red to me. I mean, do whatever you want. We're just playing around. This is easy, loose, very free. This is the quality of watercolor, whether it's cheap watercolor or expensive. This is the beauty of it, that it just spreads and it mixes and it's really soft and pretty. And this is just all we're doing, just a suggestion of these pretty organic shapes and flowers, and then I'll do some stems, and hopefully I don't ruin it with my stems. Here, we'll just put the center of the flower right there. How about that? I could add a little bit of orange, that lighter orange right here. We could add more petals if we wanted to, and we can see that those are mixing together, which is nice. I think I'll go ahead and just encourage that to flow over there like that. So you can use your water to encourage the flow into each other. I'm just adding a little bit more water there because I think I want to add some more red to that. Let that flow. We'll tilt it up. I'm just tapping it just to kind of encourage the flow up there. All right, so we've got, that one has those two little petals. Two little long petals there, but these do not. So do I want to make those kind of match? I mean, we can. I mean, I could just do a little thin thing right here. And what did I do first? Purple? I think I did. Do some, not that, we did red, right? Did the red. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. I can always lift it up, lift it out of there. So there's a little suggestion of them there. Just with a damp, kind of dry brush, you can lift that out. I think I like that. There. There. So this is a faint suggestion of those little flowers right, the little petals right there. So now, I think we're good with these 3 petals, so, or flowers, so why don't we just play around and do the stem. So, if I put a stem right there, so I'm just taking my brush and doing a stem. And I want to take the green, I'll take the darker green and just tap it in there and let it travel down to that line that I made. And I'm just encouraging it by adding a little more water. Let me do the light green and just tap it down in there. You can't see that, sorry. So you see this very faint stem right here. Just a clean wet brush, just do a faint line, and I'm gonna just tap a little bit more of the green color in here, the dark green, tap it right there. Just tap it on down, let it flow. If I want, I could add a little bit of the, do a little bit of blue. Will that work? See if that works. Yeah, a little bit of the blue makes it dark. Again, just lightening. I'm just kind of letting that fade as it goes down. So you have this very faint light stem. The same with this one. I'm going to wet my brush and just create a line, wetting a line like this, so that we can let the watercolor do what it wants to do. Put this green here and tap it, and you can kind of see where it's shiny, kind of, and tap it where it's shiny to let that flow. And there's not a lot of flow because there's not a lot of water. It's not really wet. Just kind of do that. Then I can put maybe this lighter green here. Drop some of that lighter green in, being careful. Maybe that blue again to darken. Yep. Yep. Anybody can do this. If I can do this, I mean, this isn't some masterpiece here, but I mean, it's pretty. It's simple, it's pretty, it's you're taking advantage of, you know, how watercolors work. So letting it spread and mix and just drip and letting it do what it wants to do. You can see it just run right down the page and just let it do what it wants. So get some blue. Again, just letting it drip right down. And I think I'm going to kind of soften this right here. And just let that drip. And probably just soften that as well. Kind of just spread this around, just let it go, give it some suggestion. I'll go up here to this one. I'm not going to take it all the way down the page. We'll just put it right here and give it a suggestion of a stem right up to the petals. Put some light green right up in there. Drop that in. We'll drop in some of that blue. Dry my brush off and just kind of soften that up. You can see very faint green, and I like that. So do we want to leave the background white, or do we want to kind of define the edges? Let's see, what do we want? Do we want to leave it? I think we should just leave it as it is. I like it. I think it's a pretty suggestion of flowers, of an orchid, not an orchid, more an iris, possibly an orchid. It could be anything. I'm just standing up and kind of looking at it, and I don't know. I think it's pretty nice. Let me know what you guys think. If you like it, give me a thumbs up and share and subscribe. And I try to come out with new videos at least once or twice a week. If it's not a craft haul or a crafting or painting kind of session or drawing or whatever. If you like that kind of thing, you like watching this and you like crafting, painting, and you want to just do this along with me with whatever kind of paint you have, with whatever pens, paint, ink, anything. Just do this. I mean, you can't get better and you can't understand your mediums if you don't. Because for me, I do procrastinate quite a bit, and this YouTube channel is to motivate me to do more of this. At least once a week, do something creative at least once a week. So please, at least, if you want to do something creative and you procrastinate and you put things off, I mean, let this motivate you guys to do some stuff and do some stuff with me. So please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you again. And thank you again for watching, and thank you for subscribing if you already have. So I appreciate you guys, and just let me know how this turned out, and let me know if you've done it and if yours turned out, how it turned out. So thank you guys so much. Bye.